Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dining Mate channel. I'm Chipper. I'm here with Dan. One of the reasons I think that we started this channel was you were receiving a lot of messages just on other YouTube channels, and
Correct.
that were asking about
Instagram too, yeah.
some of your experiences in Japan. We both kind of went over there around the same time for the same reasons. And so just I guess the best way to have the first conversation about this is to
hmm
just like level set at the beginning and say like why did we go originally, and then how was our experience there. Obviously we're not going to cover all of that in a 5-minute video or something here, but just as far as like take us all the way back to the beginning. I mean, we met in 2004, so let's go back there, and then where because it actually was a little bit longer than that for you where it started.
Correct.
Where where did it start for you, and then let's just go up until we
Met.
got to Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so my what led me to what piqued my interest about Japan in the first place was when I was in third grade elementary school. Had a substitute teacher that lived in Japan for like 20 years, and she was only there going to be there for like a week or two. And when she did her self introduction, she brought like all of this memorabilia from Japan, and she showed us a video. I was like, man, that looks like a nice place. And I think that was the creation, the inception of me wanting to go to Japan.
No.
And then fast forward to like a couple years after that, I started taking karate, and I went all the way up through the rankings in that, got my black belt, and then graduated high school, got ready for college, went to Alabama. Um, I was in engineering starting out, and then I had to take a language class, and I didn't want to take Spanish. Took Spanish all the way up through high school, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's time to pick something else. Randomly selected, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Japanese.
Yeah.
And then that's how I got into Japanese class.
Where we met.
Well, we met, yeah.
And for me, I think I always, growing up, I was really into Pokemon. Obviously, Dragon Ball,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
Ranma,
Mm-hmm.
growing up. And I think when I was in middle school, high school, all they offered in our school was, like as far as foreign languages go, were Spanish and French. I took Spanish, and it's funny because when we started at the university, I was like, I just don't want to take Spanish anymore. And it's
mm-hmm.
funny because I ended up like,
Yep.
yeah, marrying Colombia, the like, and doing that. But I think, um, yeah, when we were there, I was like, I just don't want to take Spanish. So what other language could I take that would be more interesting? And I was always I liked Japanese culture, Chinese culture,
mm-hmm.
because we just didn't learn about it that much. Everything was from Greek history up,
Correct.
like Western. We'd have like one chapter on this is
Mm-hmm.
the Ming Dynasty, or this was like
Mm-hmm.
Shintoism in Japan, like, and kind of going back and forth. That was the whole Asia chapter. They'd throw India in there and
Mm-hmm.
all that. So when I was trying to take what class I was watching, Last Samurai, Tom
Oh,
Cruise
yeah.
on there, and I was like, oh, Japanese, let's take Japanese, and they had like one more space in there, so I like, so I
Oh, I
took it.
forgot about the meeting the class quota. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I was the last space there, and then I remember that first day. There were the building at Alabama where we went was in two different sections, right? Like BB
hmm
Comer, there, the international building, and I went into the wrong section, so I was a little bit late for the class. Do you remember
Oh
this?
yeah, I remember when you walked in. Everybody was sitting down too. I felt bad for you. I was like, oh man, who is this guy coming in all late, man?
Because
We picked names and everything.
well, that's the thing. So y'all had already went through like the first lesson,
hmm
right? And then I had missed it. So what was it? Oshida Sensei. What was it that she
Oh, she
said?
called. Oh yeah, you. She greeted you in Japanese,
Yeah,
and then you returned the greeting in Spanish.
yeah,
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 and from then on, she was calling you the Spaniard
yeah,
when you.
yeah, yeah.
So.
And it was a really rough few weeks. but what was so interesting about that was like and then we became friends, and then a lot of our
Yeah,
friends group that are still friends with us today were
correct.
coming from that class. Um, but
Wouldn't change it, man.
as we started like learning more and getting more involved in like ambassador programs and meeting other Japanese people, I think that it really took a lot of our time, not just from school, but
Hmm.
then after
After
school,
school,
we
yep.
were spending a lot of time
Going on
around,
trips,
yeah,
yep.
around the language. And I think that's where like it hit a different level, right? Like we were always like interested in it, I think like separately, but like once we started doing that, then and we were coming from somewhere that we didn't really travel so much. We'd
Yeah.
go in a car to a
Atlanta.
couple hundred mile radius away or something. Yeah, but we're both from Birmingham
Birmingham. Yep.
in Alabama, by the way. But I think when it just hit another level where I just remember for years we would just be like, man, we gotta get to Japan. We gotta get to
Yeah.
Japan. And we had no plan on what we were gonna do there
We just
or
knew we
how
had
we
to
were
go.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
And we just romanticized it like
Hmm.
so much.
Well, and you were the first one of us to make it a reality.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? I think in 06, maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're aging us.
You went, I was like, oh my goodness, I want to go.
Yeah.
That's all I could think
Well,
about.
well, yeah. And my girlfriend at the time was Japanese, and I went over there for the winter holidays. And I remember coming back and being even more. I didn't even want to finish school.
Yeah.
I was like, let me just go, and then like we'll talk to the family, like,
Yeah.
okay, just finish the school, and then we'll figure out a way to like
And I
go
mean,
over
this
there.
was like an everyday conversation, man. We
Yeah,
got to go to Japan.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Now it would have behooved us. It would have been in our better interest to say what we would have done there,
yeah, oh yeah.
maybe. But it was the journey was really fun, and the
Mhm.
people that we met along the way just
I
in
mean,
those 4 years.
it's like I can't imagine not meeting you. Like, even if I had the interest in Japan, if I didn't meet you and we didn't have that class, I don't think I would have ever had the opportunity to go.
I think it really changed the course of our lives in that
Hmm.
not only would we not have been able to go, we would have probably never been motivated enough
Hmm.
to do that. And you know, I feel like a lot of our friends from before
Hmm.
college and stuff had really limited choices or limited
Hmm.
things possibilities that they could go, and it leads to limited outcomes.
Yeah.
And even us just trying to do something different,
Different. Yep.
I think was like just changed the path or the trajectory of the people that we hung out with, the things that we did, the things that we were interested in. Um, yeah, but that was over the course of those 4 years. And then when we graduated, I graduated
Yeah, you
semester
graduated before I did.
semester before you,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
semester.
And then I went over there and started working, and I worked it was like an international school for but a lot of it was they had like international relationships with other people, so I was helping with like emails and things from whatever like sister university and stuff that they had in the US. So when we were in Japan, I was able to get the humanities visa
Hmm.
from that, and I was working for them for a year or so. And then when we started that, then I started the band on the side,
Oh yeah.
and with a couple of friends that we met at I met Schulte at Alabama. He was an exchange student in Alabama, and then his boss at the time in Japan was Naoki, right?
Hmm.
Like he had us on, and then so we started playing together. We needed a drummer. Dan had just finished graduating, and then we were
Yeah.
like, hey, we need a
Well,
drummer. So
when I graduated, it wasn't until a year later. I worked a year,
mhm.
and then
Oh,
yeah, at America's Best
yeah, the
Contacts and
eyeglasses. Yeah,
Eyeglasses,
yeah,
and I ended up working there for a year in sales, and then I was like, I got the opportunity, got a ticket. I was like, yep, going.
yeah,
I bought my ticket the next day. When the opportunity presented itself, and
yeah.
went to Japan, and it was everything that I thought it would be. Like,
And,
yeah.
and we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about that in future videos. But
Side note,
yeah,
humanities visa, guys. If you have the opportunity to go to Japan, get that visa.
Well, because I was on the humanities and he was on
Instructor visa.
he ended up on instructor visa, and it seems like it's pretty similar, and it is not.
Yeah.
The freedom, the
Mhm.
length of the visa, the things that you have, the possibilities that one gives you that the restrictions that the other one has. It's a rate limiting factor on doing a lot of different things. But we'll talk about that stuff. That's another question for another
video.
time.
Yep.
But that's kind of what got us
To
there.
Japan, yep.
The motivation that got us there. And then yeah, if you have any other questions, like make sure to leave them down below. We'll love to answer it. Dan still got his kanji series going, still in the Jukyu
Check
level.
it out.
Yeah, be sure to check it out. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.